And keep in mind, guys, it's not like the bar is super high. The bar is so low. The bar is as low as a 97-year-old's ball sack. That's where it is. And yet somehow, these companies still managed to mess it up. What is up, everyone? Guys, listen up. In today's video, I want to talk about why most of the games that come out today really suck. Why is it normalized now that the game launches usually are horrible and it's kind of okay? Like, how many times have you heard, oh, you know what? This game is going to come out and most likely it's going to be horrible when it launches, but give it a year or two and then it's going to be fine. Like, how many times have you talked about this with someone or somebody has mentioned this to you? And I feel like with time, this is just getting more and more normal. And it's really sad because I don't think that should be the case at all. I think that the product, when being delivered, should not be undercooked. They should put in the time, put in the work, and the product that we actually pay for should deliver. That should be like the normal expectation, but it's all the way around, man. The more time passes, everything is normalized. There are some games that come out that have literally broken invite systems. You can't play with your friends. Dude, there were games like, for example, Outriders, where I couldn't invite anyone. We paid for the game because it was co-op, and I barely played with my friends. I pretty much got through the whole game without playing with any of my friends, and many other games out there. Destiny 2 had a bad launch. There was no content, and the quality of the content that was already there wasn't great. And keep in mind, guys, it's not like the bar is super high. The bar is so low. The bar is as low as a 97-year-old's ball sack. That's where it is. And yet somehow, these companies still manage to mess it up. In a way, that's impressive. I'm not gonna lie, it really is. A lot of the times, what the devs and these companies do, especially if it's like a PvP, PvE game, but to be honest, in PvE games as well, they've turned balancing patches into content patches. And that, in my opinion, is pretty much unacceptable. And at the same time, it's very sad. Do I think games need to be balanced? 100%. You'd be crazy to think that most of the games that especially are live service don't need to be balanced, right? Like, that's kind of a crazy take, to be honest. And that's not what I'm saying. Those mistakes that caused those balancing issues, that happened on the company side, on the dev side, right? So it should be fixed. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think that because you need to balance something, and once again, you're fixing your own mistakes, that should move all the content that's supposed to be coming out. That is crazy. That should be on the back end, in my opinion. I would love to hear your thoughts. But like, this is just the beginning of the problems as well. Let's talk about politics in video games. And by the way, it doesn't matter which side you're on, right? It does not. It has no place in video games. It just doesn't. It really doesn't make any sense. And the problem with it isn't just, you know, which side you're on or this and which you agree with and what you don't agree with or whatever it is. The problem is once it's shoved into these games, the whole attention from the creators goes to that. Instead of making actually a good game, everybody's just trying to put more and more politics into it, and the attention once again goes away from creating a good product that has innovation in it, that has passion in it, imagination in it, right? Like love. None of that is there for gaming. None of that. It's all about politics. And then it also hurts the writing, because if you do put politics in video games, your writing better be good, because if it's not, the dialogues are gonna be ass, complete ass. It's not going to be interesting because you're doing something that really doesn't work with that universe. Nobody wants to hear that shit in a video game, bro. Like, nobody wants to hear that. I just want to upgrade my skills, get new armor, get a big ass sword, and I want to smash the enemies. If it's not a sword, I want to have an insane grenade launcher or a flamethrower, and I just want to kill thousands of enemies. That's what I'm there for. I have more than enough politics outside of gaming. I really do. You know why? Because it's everywhere, whether I want it or not. So maybe gaming should be that space where people can just have a good time with their friends, create some good memories, and not get into another way of dividing people, right? Because essentially that's what it is, man. No matter how you look at it, it ends up dividing people. There's some crazy people out there, man. Some people literally aren't mature enough to just listen to an opinion, even from their family members. If somebody votes for this guy and somebody votes for that guy, you're not my family anymore. That's it. I'm done. Really? That's where we're at. And if that's where we're at, which we are, why shove it in video games as well? So I truly don't think politics has any place in it as well. Like, it just makes everything worse. It takes away from the enjoyment of gaming overall. Pip, what are your examples, Pip? Concord. Concord is my example. And the bar keeps being extremely low. And I'm telling you right now, the bar is already really low, right? Already. Because if there's something that is wrong with the game, what happens? We have to read a 3,000 word explanation on like some kind of dev talk where how hard it is to make video games. This is what we have to listen to every single time. Look at what Bungie was doing when something went wrong with Destiny 2. Guys, making games is hard. Really? Is that what we're gonna start talking about? Like, making games is hard. Imagine going to anywhere, like any kind of business. Let's say you're ordering a bike and you like something and you're like, I want that bike, that one right there. Can you like custom adjust it for me? Like add this, like this color. And the guy goes, yeah, just come back in 2 weeks. You pay the money, you go back in 2 weeks, and it's trash. It is ass. It is undercooked, horrible. He gives it to you. You get on the bike. The wheel falls off. It's just not working, right? Nothing. It's just horrific. And you tell him, oh, bro, what is this? Like, what is this garbage? This doesn't work. This shouldn't be like this. Imagine the guy telling you, yeah, I know, man, but making bikes is really hard, bro. Like, I'm so sorry, but it's really, really hard. You got to be happy with what you got, man. Like, it is what it is. As I said, it's really hard. You would most likely grab that bike and shove it up his ass. Or imagine going to a restaurant, ordering a burger. It comes to you, it is garbage. And he goes, man, it ended up being much harder to do than I thought. Nobody cares about that in any other industry. Like, you pay, you're waiting for the product that was promised to you. Oh, it's hard to do. Well, it's your job though. It's your job though. And I understand. Look, the working environment needs to be mentally good. People need to be doing their job, all that kind of stuff in a good environment. I get that. But excuses in general is just not the way to go, because I don't know why you think that people are going to feel really bad for companies that have billions of dollars. By the way, this is not just about the devs. A lot of the times, the devs are putting in the work, but the companies make terrible decisions and that affects the game. And then they have to come up with all of these things. And maybe the devs don't even really want to put these messages out there, but then the marketing team jumps in. And the last time those guys have played a video game is never. They've never played a video game, right? Never. They think you give them a controller, they might literally just hold it upside down. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. But regardless, this messaging of, oh, it is hard to do is pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. It has to stop. Like, nobody cares about that. So what about all the losers that are literally glazers of some video games? That really does blow my mind, man. Like, white knighting for companies that have hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars that honestly don't give a shit about you. And they show this to you by not making good content, by having like updates once every few years. Destiny 2, talking about the PvP maps, right? Like 3-4 years that took him, or even more than that, to introduce a new PvP map to a video game, right? No new enemy types until the last year of the game. That's literally when they introduced the new enemy type. All that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, making billions of dollars. But you have to be that guy to, no matter what their decision is, even if it's the shittiest decision in the game, you have to just suck on it. Like that's what you do. I will never understand it. The reality is the community needs to have the ability to stand together. And when there's bullshit, you call out the bullshit. And when they do something well, you give credit where credit is due. That's how it should work. But the reality is that's not how it works, because people lose their mind if you point out something wrong with the game. I'll give you an example. Even the devs in Helldivers 2 are saying that ragdolling needs to be adjusted, and it's literally in the known issues of the game. They know it's not working as it's supposed to. It's just not fun. But you'll have people saying ragdolling is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And even worse than that, when Helldivers 2 went down to 5,000 players, they hit that point. This is not a joke. They were at 5,000 players because balancing was so bad. It was so bad that nobody wanted to play. Even then, you had people saying that the game was doing great, and we were just complaining about it. 5,000 players, guys. You understand what we're saying here, right? The game was over 450,000 or something at its peak. And if you're thinking, Pip, obviously it would drop, yes, but guess what? It shouldn't be dropping by 445,000. That's not normal. That happens when the decisions made are not good, and it's okay to say that. Here, let me give you an example on how it should work. When the balancing was shit, I was saying the balancing was shit. When they did a great job with the balancing with the 60-day plan, I gave them credit where credit is due. I said the balancing that they've done was incredible, and the game is probably in the best shape it's been when it comes to the fun aspect of it. Am I also gonna say that there's enough content and progression in the game? No, I'm not gonna do that, because I'm not gonna white knight it. I'm gonna say it as it is. It lacks progression and it lacks content. And as soon as they get that done, the game was gonna feel 10 times better. And that should be a normal thing. It's also messed up when you shit on everything they do. It has to be in the middle. Credit where credit is due, and call out the bullshit as well. And that's, you gotta be real with yourself. And if you're a creator, you gotta be real with your community, man. That's what it's all about. And these people just don't get it. Like, they don't. No matter, I don't know if it's like an ego trip or whatever it is, but even though you see the game dropping to those numbers and still saying that the game's doing great, to me is crazy. I think it's one of the worst things that is happening in gaming as well, because it hurts the game, man. It really does hurt the longevity, the quality, the health, everything of the game. So yeah, those are the things that I wanted to go over, man. It really is a huge problem, and I truly hope that this in the future gets better. Anyway, make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this one. Appreciate you guys more than you will ever know. As always, stay positive, stay disciplined, and I'll see you all on the next one.
Let's go! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I mean, we literally have the best community of all time.